Right. Once again, I welcome you all to this very special 97th session of Leadership Talk. As you know, that these leadership talks are being organized by India International Education Council and School Lalaji Solutions. India International Education Council is a not-for-profit organization which is working in the field of education. It has collaborators from 12 countries. IIC aims to create a better world through education. It also aims to build quality centers which are approachable for all kids, finding best educational practices across the globe and find ways to implement those in Indian institutions. It is also creating more awareness on hygiene and learning disabilities. It publishes a magazine called World Education Review and many other educational reports. It aims to build 100 chapters in different cities by 2022. It will soon open its membership for institutions and individuals. It also impart training for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. So as you know that so far we have conducted 96 sessions. This is our 97th session. We have received 8,939 registrations, 8,118 questions on national education policy. We have seen participation from 5 countries: India, USA, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Nepal. We have also seen participation from 19 states and 84 cities in India. We aim to organize 200 sessions. With this, we would be reaching out to 100,000 educators, 20,000 institutions, and 1,000 plus eminent speakers. Like today's speakers would be joining us to share their perspective and thought on national education policy. So I must recognize the presence of Tapti Chatterjee ma'am, who has just joined us. Tapti ma'am is executive director with one of the biggest school in Delhi NCR, modern school, Bhiwadi and Noida. Welcome, Tapti ma'am. So now I would request you all, please join me in welcoming our key speakers for this very special session. Our first key speaker, Trilok Singh Bishji, who is principal with Delhi Public School, Ghaziabad, Vasundhara, Delhi. He's a passionate educationist for past 4 decades. He has worked with many prestigious institutions like Jodhamal Public School, Jammu, Unison World School, Doon International Senior Secondary School, Scholars Home Senior Secondary School. He is a winner of many awards for his contribution to the field of education, like CBSE Teacher Award for 2016 by MHRD and CBSE Chairperson. He was also awarded the, as the best principal of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh for 6 years in a row. He was appointed the city coordinator for competitive exams by CBSE. We welcome you, Trilok sir. Thank you for your presence. Our next key speaker, Dr. Kunal Anandji. Dr. Kunal is principal with the Delhi Public School, Udhampur, Jammu and Kashmir. He is a district training coordinator with CBSE. He's also the general secretary with Jammu Sahodaya School Complex. He's also the director operations with Global Talk Education Foundation. He has worked as founder principal with the Pathways International School. He has 17 years of experience in teaching, administration, training and development, staff training, operations, students relations, campus management, campus operations, and management of schools and educational institutions. He's having vast experience and expertise in heading a big team. He's a regular invitee on prestigious forums as panelist, keynote speaker, resource person for various national and international conferences. He has been awarded with many state and national education awards. He has twice won the award for 100 highly effective principals of India, awarded by AKS Education Services. He has also won the Principal of the Year award by Times Now and Franchise India. He is also awarded the Bharatiya Shiksha Samman Puraskar presented by Dr. Mulli Manohar Joshi and International Education Excellence Award by Sunil Shastri ji, who is the son of former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. So we welcome you, sir. Thank you for your joining. Your presence is a Our next key speaker, Saima Khanji. Saima Khanji is former director with the Banyan Tree School, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. She's a very veteran educationist. She's an educator and counselor with an enriching and educative experience of 3 decades. She believes that teaching is not just her profession, but her passion. She, uh, chose this profession at a very young age. Ms. Khan is an avid reader and prolific writer. Her articles and poems have been published in the prestigious magazines and platforms like Readers Digest, Women's Era, Spandon, and AWES publication of Educators Poem, Army Journals, AWWA Magazine, Times of India, and International Top 100 Poems. Currently, she is in the process of writing a book for defense fraternity. In 2020, Ms. Saima Khan was awarded the Nation Builder Award for serving society by Rotary International Club and Asian Education Award for contribution to education community. Saima Khanji conducts workshop for educators and students of reputed schools and for publishing houses. We welcome you, Saima ma'am. Thank you for joining. It's a huge inspiration that you have joined us. Thank you and welcome. Our next key speaker, Dr. Deepika Yadavji. Dr. Deepika Yadav is assistant professor with SRM University. She has been awarded a doctorate degree on the topic of optimal operations and scheduling of hydropower plant by NIT Hamirpur. She has presented her work at national and international levels. She has reviewed various papers for international journals as Elsevier Journal of Renewable and Sustainable Energy Reviews. She is a life member with the ISTE. She has more than 8.5 years of teaching experience in various institutions. Earlier, she has also worked with EDM Science and Technology Institute, University, Ethiopia. Her research area is soft computing techniques, application in power system and renewable energy. Well, we welcome you, Deepika ji. Thank you for joining. Our next key speaker, Jaswinder Singh ji. Jaswinder ji is founder and CEO of Wordsworth ELT. Wordsworth English Lab is designed for India and is highly research initiative of ACT UNIF Group. It is a trusted education company with 2 decades of service in technology, education, and training. His expertise in technology, multimedia, and content development has been instrumental in presenting a world-class language lab solution for academia in India. In a short span of time, Wordsworth English Language Lab has managed considerable recognition across the country for its unique content and methodology. Over 3,000 installations in institutions across the country stand testimony of the quality in product, implementation, training, and continual service provided by ACT UNIF and its committed network of dealers. We welcome you, Jaswinder sir. Thank you for joining. Our next key speaker is Mr. Savio John. Savio is the national head of quality with Torrens. He's a professional musician, specifically a singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He has been performing since a very young age and has toured multiple cities performing in various venues. He's also a gospel musician and has featured on various TV shows. He's currently working with Torrens Music and heading quality and delivery excellence in India. Since the past 8 years, he has been working with institutions engaged in vocational education, handling business development, strategy, and implementation. Savio has always been very vocal about making music a compulsory subject in schools, as the creativity, discipline, and communication that it demands would help students become better individuals. Savio has authored the vocal curriculum for Torrens and conducts vocal workshops across various schools. We welcome you, Savio. Thank you for joining. So with this, now I would request all our key speakers, if I may ask you for your opening remarks. I believe Tilok ji is yet to join us, so I would request Kunal sir, if I may come to you for your opening remark. I would request all the key speakers, you have 1 minute for your opening remark and then 8 to 10 minutes for your main talk, so that we have sufficient time for the questions in the end. Kunal sir, I would request for your opening remark.
Thank you so much, and thank you World Education Review that we are here, and among these top-notch educationists, musicians, techno-smart people, English trainers, I am really thrilled to be among the bestest of people in the country, and Lok Singh Best sir is my mentor. I have learned education principalship under his mentorship only, so he's my guru. So I'm glad that I'm sharing a platform with him. And my takeaway today would be definitely that I would like to, as you said at the beginning, the integration. I would like to really talk about the integration of inclusive learning, inclusive education, experiential learning, and how to make it enjoyable and lovable for the children. So my takeaway would be that on this session, and definitely NEP is guiding us with all these things. So I am with it.
Yes, thank you, Kunal sir. We all are very excited to hear your ideas and perspective. I am told that Tilok sir is joining us in next 5 to 10 minutes. So with this, now I would request Saima Khan ma'am, your opening remark.
Namaste, all of you, and good morning. As Dr. Anand said, it'll actually be a learning experience at whatever age and however many years of service you have. Learning from the youngsters. I just loved what the ideology of Mr. John is. Music, art should actually be imbibed in the curriculum. It will certainly make us better educators and better learners. So today I am sitting on this platform as a learner. I'll be imbibing everything, and whatever little knowledge I have, I would like to share with you all. Thank you so much and God bless you all.
Thank you, Saima ma'am. This is the biggest quality of all the big people. They always sit as a learner. They always say that please don't take
Absolutely.
anything from us. Please give every learning from
We want to.
right.
That is
So
the
that is the
greatness. That is the greatness.
that is the greatness. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, Bismillah,
And
sir.
this is what we have to learn from our seniors.
Absolutely, absolutely.
True, true.
So thank you, Simon ma'am, and we'll come back to you. Now I would request Jaswinder sir, if we can have your opening remark.
Yeah, so good morning again to everybody. I represent the language domain, and I'm going to talk about the new way how NEP is, taking up languages, how their introduction of local language or the mother tongue in the foundation years. I'm also from the technology side. My company is an edtech company, so I'm going to talk about how whatever we think is difficult to implement and prescribed by the NEP. How can we, achieve that by the use of technology? So that is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm also going to add a little bit of what Dr. Anand said about inclusive education, how getting these other kinds of experiences that these students are going to have, how is it going to help us make a better country? Because compassion and respect for other professions is something that NEP is actually getting in. So that's the point that I'll be taking up. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We'll come back to you. Now I would request Dr. Deepika Yadav ji. Dr. Yadav, if we can have your opening remark.
Yes, sir. Good morning, one and all present. Thank you, sir, for giving me opportunity to be part of panel discussion. As I'm from SRM University, so I'll be discussing about choice-based credit system, CBCS curriculum that we have adopted for SRM University, particularly for electrical department. So basically, there are two key objectives of National Education Policy 2020. The one that is the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure that will be replacing 10 plus 2 structure of education policy, where B2B, that is back to basic, that is primary level, will be given more emphasis. And second is multiple entry and multiple exit scenario, which need to be implemented at the UG level. So where first year dropout will be issued certificates accordingly. Second year will be, if second year dropout, any student is there, they will be issued diploma. And similarly, third year dropout will be given advanced diploma certificate. And at the completion, obviously, the degree will be awarded. So basically, our objective are still on discussion stage and yet to be implemented. So in a sense, we can discuss how we can relate this second objective with our BTech electrical curriculum. So this is how I'll explain more about CBCS syllabus in a little bit of detail. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika ji, for giving us a detailed glimpse of your coming main talk. So I'll come back to you with this. And now I would request Savio, John, Savio, if you can have your opening remarks.
Uh, Top of the morning, everybody. It is so humbling to be in the presence of such eminent speakers and people who are on the top of the field right now. And heartfelt thanks to you, Simon ma'am, for the kind words. And I will be speaking about the importance of music in the life and the development of children, and how we as a company, Torrance Music, can add more value to the music system in the country. Thank you. Over to you, Rajulji. Thank you.
Thank you, Savio. And I also must recognize the presence of Sunita Nandwani ji, who is principal with Saffron Public School, Faridabad. Welcome, Sunita ma'am. And Trilok Singh Bistar has joined us. Welcome, Trilok sir. We just finished the opening remarks. So I would request if we can have your opening remark. And Kunal sir said that you are his guru and mentor, and we believe you are the guru and mentor for all of us, Trilok sir. So we can we have your opening remark, Trilok sir?
Good morning, everyone. Actually, I was busy with my meeting with my staff. We're working on next year's implementation of our curriculum design 2020, which is more or less a little having an upper edge over the NEP also, National Education Policy. So I think this is a very good step which has been taken by the government of government ministry, education ministry, and but the biggest challenges are going to be how to train the teachers to go by this inquiry based education, We are so used to that rote learning 2 1 2, 2 3 4, 2 3 6, 2 4 8, 2 5 10. How to teach them the patterns, how to make them think, how to make them the lifelong inquirers. This is going to be a big challenge because the teachers are also in the same mode. They're also used to the same pattern. Changing the teachers would be a bigger challenge than changing the children's outlook on this. So changing the mindset will definitely be a problem. So we'll be talking as we go further. We'll talk about the challenges and the opportunities, and both have to be taken. And we have to vis a vis. We have to think on it and look for a solution where we can actually implement in the letter and spirit. It should not fizzle out like the CCA system in 2009, which had come up. It was so beautiful, but it did not survive. It had to go off just because we did not do any pilot project. We did not test it on some particular selected schools. We just had it, one after the other. We were having it without, everybody was following it up blindly. What one has done, they were sharing on the WhatsApp. Other schools were following it. It was a cut, copy, paste, which was happening. We have to come out of all those things, and everybody has to use their creative and their problem solving skills. And we really want the children to be the inquirers who can be lifelong learners, and they become good communicators who would definitely make a difference to the 21st century learners. And I'm sure we as principals, a big responsibility lies on us. If we are not able to understand it in letter and spirit, we will not be able to do anything about it. We'll just cut, copy, paste, as I said. So we have to have a proper implementation program in place. If we don't have an implementation program at place, it will all be another eyewash kind of a thing for us. It will just eyewash and nothing else altogether. I think with the passage of time, as we proceed, we will all learn from each other. And I'm sure, we have to have no mentor, nothing as such. We are all coming to a new journey altogether. Every one of us on the same space, and we have to feel that everybody is at the same pace, and we have to come to the same page so that we can work together. And that open door policy is very, very important. Every
Right.
principal, in spite of having 30 years experience, should have the open door policy. If now something new is coming from the youngsters, like if you talk about Kunal or anybody, the new principles which are coming, we are the old, outdated ones now, but yes, we are trying to live up and catch up with the present time. But the freshers who are coming up, the new principals which are coming up, they are actually more digitally strong. They are the ones who can teach us also. So I believe as principals, we should be having open-ended the system. We must have the open-minded approach towards learning from each other. And new education policy talks about this change to be brought in everybody's perspective, that we are going to be the inquirers, that inquisitiveness to learn more. Even at this age, the child within me should be alive. If it is alive, I'll learn more. If I become old, age is only numbers. If I say at 52, if I have childlike inquisitiveness, ये क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, sir ये बताइए. I asked Jaswinder sir, आपने ये किया था, ये कैसे किया? You can ask anybody. If you feel free to ask the people, you'll find you learn more. So this NEP is talking about the inquiry based education, where it has to be student led. Teachers have to be only the facilitators.
Facilitate.
They don't have to dictate. ऐसा करना है, ऐसा नहीं करना है. Let the children come out with the suggestions. Let us also learn from the children in the bargain by being a facilitator out there. With this, I think my closing remark gets over. I think if I speak, I'll keep speaking.
So this was the
Principals
opening
are in the
remark.
habit of speaking a lot.
No,
Thank
this
you.
was the opening. This was the opening remark. I'll come back to you for your detailed, perspective. And we were discussing the same thing when Saima ma'am said that she is the learner and she's sitting as a learner. So all Kunal sir, you must agree with this, that all big people, all great people, they don't accept that they are the mentor or guru. They always say that they are sitting at the same level and they are also there to learn. So thank you, Tilok sir, for that. I'll come back to you now. With this, I would request Kunal sir. And before I invite Kunal sir, I just would like to share the learnings which we have had during our last 96 sessions. During our last 96 sessions, almost every participant, every educator believe that this is a wonderful document, NEP. This document has a potential to place India at that coveted, position of Vishwa Gyan Guru. But almost everyone believed, like Lok sir, that execution is going to be very challenging. A lot of people said that finance would be a challenge. Many people said training would be a challenge. Training for teachers would be a challenge, which Kunal sir and Trilok sir said. Many people believe that many good schools in urban cities, urban part, they're already implementing these points mentioned in policy. So biggest challenge would be for rural school or budget schools or government schools. So with that thought, I would request all our key speakers, while sharing our perspective, also suggest some kind of roadmap or some suggestions which we all can try in our respective domain. So with this, we'll open our main talk session. So all these speakers will get 8 to 10 minutes. I would request for the time limit so that we can have the question, we can ask the questions in the sufficient time. So with this, I would request Kunal Anand sir. Kunal sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. And irrespective what Trilok sir said, and what Samaman said, we as the young principals or the new principals have to follow the footsteps which you people have laid down and have to get to the mark, which is a very difficult milestone for us to achieve. The achievement, Trilok sir, you have got, Sama ma'am, you have got, because I don't know you personally, but Trilok sir, I've been knowing personally. I've worked with him for so many years, worked under him for so many years, and my son is a product of Jodhamal, trained under Trilok sir, so I can actually relate to the kind of passion sir has in implementing things in his school and the way he made Jodhamal the #1 school in JNK. So hats off to you, sir, and you are my true guru, and nobody can take that thing away from me. Well,
Thank you so much for being so generous and kind, Kunal. Actually, I'm learning so much from you in the bargain, you know. You don't know I'm very smart. I'm quietly learning things from you. Right? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So now coming to the point, like what we were talking about, the National Education Policy 97th session at what you mentioned, sir, and almost another hundreds and hundreds of sessions we are witnessing, we are being a part of. And definitely the document is there, the document is in its place. As you rightly said in your speech, that almost already schools are using it. A lot of schools I won't categorize into urban or semi-urban or non-urban, but yes, schools are doing it and doing it for a longer time. If you go back to our times when we were students, I think the kind of skill education we have got, probably we have not been able to implement the same in the same perspective right now. I remember we had carpentry and gardening as a particular subject when I was studying in a school. So even we have to go for that. Even basic skills like how to button, how to you put a button on your shirt, how to sew a small detection from your cloth. Even those things were taught to us. Today, definitely they come under a home science subjects, but these things were taught to us at a very young age. When the students used to go out for school, camping, I am the product of Burnhall School, Srinagar. So whenever we used to go out for camping, we had to carry all our sewing kits with us because we don't know. There's nobody to help us over there. So NEP certainly has a lot to talk about. But what needs to be understood is how to implement. That is our biggest question. I won't call it as a challenge, because if it is not challenging, we as educators, we as learners will not be able to accept it. Because if something comes easy to us, we do not give a price to that thing. So things have to be challenging, and it has to prepare a proper roadmap so that we can actually get these things into practicality. The practical aspect of implementing NAP, as what Bisser also said about the teachers training, is very, very important and very integral, because normally documents are made. A lot of documents are made, sat down in the four walls of a particular office. But when it comes to implementing, as sir even gave an example of CCE, it came in, it was understood, and once we all started using it properly, prior to understood the whole thing, it was taken away because there was no pilot training. So definitely NEP requires a lot of training before it actually comes on ground from implementation. What I need to talk about here, what I thought I would pick up from here, was curriculum and pedagogy. We talk about curriculums, we talk about pedagogy, but how to achieve a holistic, integrated, inclusive, enjoyable, and engaging learning. That is the challenge what we are facing as educators, what our teachers are facing into their classrooms, and of course, the stakeholder, the parents are even facing it because they are not understanding things. So before I talk about how to implement it or how to train my teachers, I would suggest from this forum to everybody that even the parents need to be considered as a major stakeholder before we implement this policy into live into our schooling. The parent need to be educated. Tomorrow, when the child goes back to the parent and ask him for something, and the parent is not aware of it, the parent might not take that thing very seriously, and at the end will not be able to yield results. So the process needs to start with the parent also. The parent has to be educated about what NEP is. People are still confused about, is it national education policy or is it new education policy? So those connotations need to be removed. Secondly, when we talk about curriculum and pedagogy, of course, curriculum is something which is led down, made by the school leaders in association with their teachers, in collaboration with the various roadmaps available. And then when you talk about pedagogy, it is something which you have to, the way you implement it. So if the curriculum and pedagogy, which is already at its place, whether NEP is there or NEP was not there, every year, as Bisser just mentioned, he was having a meeting with his staffers about the next curriculum and pedagogy plan for the upcoming year. So every year, the school heads make a particular curriculum, make a proper pedagogy to follow that curriculum. And now what we need to look at is that this pedagogy and curriculum should actually be implemented in a holistic, integrated, inclusive, enjoyable, and engaging way. When we talk about holistic development of learners, definitely we talk about a person who can actually be physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, aware and an all-rounder. That is what I mean. What I understand by holistic development of a child. If the child is able to have all these aspects in one place, definitely it is easier for us to implement new things for that child. If your curriculum, if your pedagogy is following this pattern, definitely things would be much more easier. And one of the speakers mentioned about, encouraging questioning. If you do not encourage questioning among the students, there we cannot think of they are becoming a holistically developed child or not. Because if you're giving them questions, they have to look for answers. And this should not only be a textbook based question. You are teaching mathematics and you gave him an exercise to work at home. That is a homework. That is not a question from where the child can actually bring out something new. A child can only bring out something new when you give him an inquiry to see what the child has to come out with. And when we talk about pedagogy and integration is rarely over there. Can anybody teach physics without the knowledge of mathematics and English? Or is anybody can teach history without the knowledge of language and literature? So everything is integrated. And as school leaders, as school principals, as edu leaders of the country, I'm sure each one of us are doing much beyond this. It is not just merely connected to our schools. It is connected to the whole education fraternity across the country. So questioning is very, very important. The question should be inquiry based for the child. The child has to understand that what exactly is required out of them. I conduct a very small activity in my school called airport activity. That is done for the junior kids, right from kindergarten 3 to almost class second and third. What I do in that, I actually want to create a virtual airport in my school. So my art integration is there because my children prepare the models of aeroplanes, they prepare the model of airport, they convert the whole place which is designated to them into the form of an airport. So I'm integrating art to them. I'm giving them research. I'm giving them research to see what all goes on in an airport. You have to go with an X-ray machine. You have to go with the scanning of yourself. You have to collect your boarding pass. You have to ensure that you are, being security checked. So all these things are created virtually in the school with the students only. So they are learning everything. And when it comes to the technicality part, they are told about how the airplane looks like. What is the technology involved in it? They are researching and then integrating it. I ask them to carry their bags as their luggage. They come to the X-ray counter, they get their luggage X-rayed. They have put a security tag on that. So those small integrations are being given to the child so that the child can integrate the whole thing into the practicality of things. Probably everybody is not going to the airport every time. Everybody cannot afford, one can afford to, or one doesn't want to. There are reasons to it. But this is integration. So a child becomes curious and asking more questions about that thing. So the inquiry-based questioning is very, very important. And I think let the technology be a part of the curriculum, part of pedagogy. It should not overtake the curriculum and pedagogy. Let the children research. Research is something very, very important. If we put that thing properly into our system, into our students, and into our teachers, it becomes more than easy for us to implement. I have made it sure that every year, my every teacher submits one research paper to me. I want to see what you have done. What new are you looking at? And when you look at 40, 50, 60, 100 new ideas, definitely out of them, 10 are such brilliant ideas which can be implemented blindly in your schools. So pedagogy comes from them. They are there to help you on that. So of course, these things, if we are put across, less stress on curriculum, more stress on research. That is my takeaway on my prerogative regarding this whole talk is more of research is required. If you are researching, you are not, not just left across to one thing. You are having many doors open. One small example I'll quote before I close my talk because I'm just left with another, I guess, 20, 25 seconds with me. We have a thing called cultural presentations in my school. What we do, because as a J&K state is a big state and it has various cultures. So the senior students of class 11th are given, they are into groups and they're asked to study one culture. And once they study that particular culture, they have to come up with a presentation in which they have to present everything. They might, deck up like that. They can wear the costumes. They can serve that kind of food. They talk about flora, fauna. They talk about the population. They talk about taste. They talk about vegetation. So in one particular cultural presentation, which is a part of activity, the child learns everything about their own state. When 10 groups are presenting 10 different cultures, you are taking away 10 different cultures, 9 from them and one which you have researched. So this is the depth educators need to look at. And if we are able to implement it in the right perspective, NEP can be a super hit. That's on my take on this.
Thank you, Kunal sir. You talked about that. The key points which I realized is the only factor which would lead for innovation. So we need to inculcate that part among our students. And I find that you are among the richest people, richest person that you get 50 ideas from your teachers every teacher 50 ideas. You are among the richest people. So thank you, Kunal sir. We'll come back to you with questions. And with this, I would request Saima ma'am, if we can have your perspective.
Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would just like to share the screen, please, if I'm given the rights to do that.
No, you can do that.
I've made a short.
Yeah, you can do that. Are you going to present from your laptop or from a mobile phone?
From my laptop.
So there's an icon, present screen, present now.
Ji.
So जैसे ही आप click करेंगे, the first option, your entire screen.
Right.
She'll be able to do it. Only she's asking for the rights. That's it.
Because I don't have that share right.
Hey, ma'am, you have.
In
You
fact,
have.
I have sent the PPT to the आपके team को भी, so if they can also share it.
Google Meet में share rights सबके पास ही है.
But it's not. I'm not able to click on that.
नहीं, आप जैसे click
your team has got it. If they can share it, I will.
आपको जैसे आपने उस पे click किया present your screen, तो आपको एक screen का icon दिखाई दे रहा है अपना. उस icon पे जैसे click करेंगे तो वो live हो जाएगा. आप एक बार screen की जो picture है उसको एक बार click करिए.
I'm more comfortable on Zoom. I take all my classes on that. So
that's an easier app. It's much easier.
That's an easier app.
Yes.
So that is why Google paid us a huge amount. उन्होंने कहा कि आप थोड़ा हमें भी popular करें Indian education leaders में. I hope you are able to do it, ma'am.
I have sent it to your team. If they are able to do that, I'll be grateful.
No, we can see your screen, ma'am. We can see your screen. आप अपनी presentation start कर सकते हैं. आपकी screen visible अब सबको.
जी हाँ, that's what I'm trying to do now.
मैम
तो आप अपनी
आपका एक्चुअली व्हाट्सएप खुल गया है.
जी हाँ,
आपको
that's
क्या
what.
करना है,
आप
आप अपना
आपकी स्क्रीन पे जो
व्हाट्सएप को
जो भी है
मिनिमाइज
हम
कर
लोग
दीजिए. एक मिनट मैम, आपका जो स्क्रीन दिखाना चाहते हैं उसे ओपन रखिए.
I had opened and I kept it ready. Actually, I'm really sorry for this.
no
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 issues,
problem.
Oh,
ma'am.
yes,
Take your
yes.
time. Take your time.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. The national education policy, as you all said, it is also termed as new education policy. We, by the 97th session, I'm sure we are all taped up with everything about it. I have been taking teachers training courses. MBA students have been teaching them. Is my voice audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What I realized is that we are missing out on the most important factor, and that is the foundational education or the pre-primary education, in spite of it being now a part of the curriculum. Most countries, they give a lot of salary to the pre-primary teachers, and unfortunately, it is a very neglected area in South Asia. Now, the pictures I've used are all real life pictures. We tend to keep quiet about the pre-primary education. The senior educators, we feel it very demeaning that, oh, pre-primary education, we cannot handle the youngsters. हम लोग तो बड़े बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं. We do not realize जब तक ना वो छोटे बच्चों को ठीक से नहीं पढ़ाते हैं, we cannot cross this bridge. We just cannot cross the bridge. We have suicidal cases, we have mental, we talk about mental health. Why is it all coming up? Why? Because of the neglect of the pre-primary education. And we were very happy that this was the first time that the pre-primary education and very importantly, the ECCE has got emphasis in the national education policy. But after all that congratulations, when we got to think about it, we realized that two aspects of early educational demand, were they actually being met? Now, what are the, if I will explain the terminologies also, the epistemology commitments, what is that? It is the distinction between the justified belief and the opinion. Are we actually meeting the demands, and do we actually know what is early childhood education? If we do not have the strong roots, how do we produce all the IITNs and of course the great educators? And the next one is that the next question that are we actually providing the universal provisions of early childhood care and education? Please let us now specify on the word care. And believe you me, these are all real life pictures. And I'm so happy that my team from Banyan Tree School, many of them are present over here. They are all a part of the pedagogy of childhood education, that is early childhood education. Now, what is the biggest disappointment of the document? We are absolutely archaic about it, old-fashioned, stage-based understanding of children's development. I have shown a little child over here. Now, this is the scenario which should be actually present in a pre-primary education, providing the home atmosphere. With the older generation, yes, of course, we all said that we are the defunct generation now, we are the oldies, but my mother, she's an educator. She is an 82-year-old lady, and this is my mother. She always says, तुम लोग जितना भी पढ़ लिख लोगे, क्या मेरा experience तुम लोग ले पाओगे? Maybe you all have more degrees than me. Maybe you all are at higher positions, but as an educator, yes, I have seen it all. So we must understand that whether we are still stuck with this archaic or are we actually going ahead. I will not bore you all with that entire reading. You all can, the PPT is with you all. You all, the youngsters can just have a look. But we must realize that the purpose, what is the purpose of these early years education? Is it to just ensure that the students are ready for class 1? Aren't we again becoming target oriented and formal curriculum we are facing? And this is what the teachers are now doing. We all are, the pedagogy is what? We must finish the syllabus. Sir, you said that the parents must be involved. The most wonderful point. Yes, we must form a team with the parents. They are the major stakeholders. A school or an educator can't just do everything. So if we are just on the curriculum, what will happen to these emergent capacities of children? Where is the creativity gone? Are we only just talking about the schoolification? Yes, it becomes a very serious concern that the early childhood education sector is still facing, and unfortunately, even in the new education or the national education policy, it is not very clear, because we are still talking about the understanding and designing of the curriculum and what happens about the sensitivities of the children. What is happening to them? Are we realizing what is happening? We are not. The care, which I told you, please take part of the care aspect. It is absolutely invisible in the doc. It is very unfortunate. That's why I thought I should really pick up that the base and the foundation should be strong. Now, what is the pertinent danger? We are only talking about the qualitative, the quantitative, and not the qualitative, and the quality we are compromising on. So we must understand that, make it clear, I've written in red, that the foundational learning of foundational skills are not the same as foundational literacy. What is literacy? Is it just reading a few books? And the child, where is the creativity come? What is happening to the psychosocial skills? What is happening to the life skills of the child? Are we really concentrating on this, especially in India? We must concentrate, and we would like to form a team with all the senior and the youngsters. Let us concentrate on the creativity of the child. And this is what now, what is happening is that the danger that we will be facing is that the teachers will be, their pedagogy will be just fulfilling the curriculum.
Requirements.
Yes, absolutely. I love these answers. So now you all said, please do give the solution to the problems that you are facing. And this is what my main aim is. Let us now understand what are psychosocial skills. Real life pictures once again. Psycho, that means the child's mental health is taken to fulfill the societal needs. We are training the child to be able to be confident. And when does the confidence come? When the knowledge is imbibed through happy learning. These are real life pictures where the child must learn about the environment. It is so important. When there is no earth, where will we teach education? Where will all the education policies go away? So shouldn't this be taught at the prime level, at the foundation level? We talk about empathy and inclusive education. This is a real life picture, once again, of a child suffering from Down syndrome. This is taught mostly in the Western countries, where we did it in Banyan Tree School also. How do we milk a cow? And the children enjoyed this activity because their fine motor skills was also being, actually they were emphasizing on the finer motor skills. You teach shapes, just have a shape party and just look at the parents' involvement in this party, where all the different shapes are catered for. According to me, seeing is actually believing. When you are teaching them what a mouse is, can't we just relate it to a computer? Their vocabulary has increased. Shapes and sizes, the traffic rules, And this is why we have so many accidents, because we have not taught them the traffic rules at this age, the pre-primary. They should know, yes, discipline is on the road, is at home. It is while you are even sleeping, we should have discipline. I'm an army officer's wife, so I think that I'm talking a lot about discipline. About light and heavy, once again, seeing and doing is believing, change of colors. Then we'll be producing all these IITNs and all the high grade people. And when the class 11th and 12th teachers say, I don't know how these pre-primary teachers, and they mean it in a very derogatory manner. They do not mean it in a very positive manner. That has really hurt me as an educator, that why shouldn't equal emphasis and equal respect be given to these teachers, these educators who are making the child hold the pen. I will not be actually reading out their extant stages of psychological development and the psychosocial development. I'm sure every parent, every teacher must know about it. This enhancement in your development goes when we as teachers know these stages, which we must know. I'm just talking about the pre-primary stage just now, and as Abhimanyu, Chakravyuh mein kyun phas gaye the? Because he did not know how to come out. His mother had gone off to sleep. So what does that indicate? Learning starts from the womb itself. Yes or no? So from birth to 18 months, let us just concentrate on developing the child, because otherwise the child's hope will go away. He will never be able to trust anybody. And by he, I mean she too. Then we are aiming at the autonomy versus shame and doubt. And that is from 18 months to 3 years, the child has started coming to school. So the questions will be on the child's willpower. We are very impatient in this world nowadays. We lack patience. Gardening, teaching the child to do the work himself, trusting the child. If you want the child to trust you, we must trust the child first. Have respect for the child. Then now from 3 to 5 years, and now of course pre-primary has become 7 years, we must let the child take up the initiative. And there we have all the engineers being made over here. Yes or no? We must know these charts. Won't bore you all just now with it. I'm sure you all are also educated much more than me. You all are aware. It is just a refresher course that we must know. Talking about inclusive education, the most important part. Why do we think we are smarter than these extra special children? They know much more than us. And I will just give you an example of this child. I hope you all can hear. Are you all able to hear the music?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just increase the volume. I just hope.
For this music to come to us, ma'am, you need to, when you're presenting, there's a with audio is option. So
Okay.
audio option is not
Anyway,
taken, so
okay. There is a beautiful music. If you can just see the actions of this child, because I want to finish off the PPT. A child suffering from Down's syndrome. The smartest child winning a lot of awards and accolades, and a perfect example of inclusive education. Give them the opportunities here. I will not give the credit to the school only. The credit goes to this child's mother, who has trusted and she thinks my child is the best. And this is what we should do with every child. Have a lot of patience. And at present, I am taking actually IELTS classes also, where there are students are adults of classes 11th and 12th English are taking, but my heart lies with the pre-primary children. So we must realize that what the necessary building blocks of a child is, and we should include it. Self-control. Just do not let the child do anything he or she wants. We must have care along with the concern for how the child is behaving. Communicative skills, social skills, emotional development, planning and sequencing through many activities, let the child do trust him. And we must train him to actually be an executive right from this stage. If the child is entering your office and doing this, be proud of this child. He's got the guts to do what he wants. I hope and I'm sure all of you are understanding. I'm a plant lover and this is one of my plants, and I've put this because I just wanted to indicate what are these, the strong roots. So let us actually, in every child, let them just evolve. And the responsibility lies with all of us, right from the pre-primary till the child remains your child. And there is actually, for a teacher, for an educator, there is no time for retirement. And the children, what do they love? They love to be loved. And all of us, like Sir said, let not the child within us ever grow up. And the joy of accomplishment, it actually takes away all that hateful failures. So let us keep the roots very, very strong. And then we have this strong banyan tree. This picture I have specially put up because now we cannot just remain deaf and blind to the education policy. Let us now be united. I'm so grateful to this platform where you all have actually united all of us. And this is what a positive feature for the education policy to actually become a success. What do we want our children? That they should actually live in peace and not in pieces. Let us promote a lot of communal harmony. Let us no gender bias. These are the basics of education. And then the curriculum will just fall in place. There will be no problem at all. So we must remember, this is a picture of a daycare where the working parents leave their children, that it is actually the teamwork that makes our dream work. And at present, what are we? We are all sitting on a platform of quintessential team, where we have ideas from all of us. I just wanted to come back to this picture. I just said, let's have no bias. I wanted to share with you all this young girl. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This young girl, if somebody tells me who actually she is, actually I'll be giving you all a prize.
Ma'am, you're not sharing the screen, ma'am.
Okay, the first slide I just showed one young girl sitting. Just I want you all to help me out with this question. Who can this young girl be?
You'll have to share it again, ma'am.
Okay. A young girl right in the beginning. I hope I can share on again. In the meantime, I would like to tell you all, have you all heard of course, you all must have watched Bikram and Betal series.
Yeah.
Yes. How did Bikram actually learn? How did Bikram actually learn? What was that, the mantra behind his learning, which we all should, of course, do? It was through the questions that he asked and not by Vetal's answers. He kept asking questions, and when Vetal was forced to answer, they both were learning. So this is what, as educators, we all should do. Let the child question, and if you do not know the answer, be honest enough. I have not been able to show the picture. That photograph is of my daughter-in-law and not of my sons. My daughter-in-law, I'm learning a lot from her. And this is where we must believe that change is the only constant. And we must adopt this new education policy with a large heart and open mind. Let the newcomers come in. Let us support each other as women. Things will become better. I have not put any pictures of my sons. I've put it of my daughter-in-law because I've learned much more from her than from anybody else. So thank you so much. This was my little take on just starting from the roots let that tree grow up with a lot of strong foundation. God bless you all, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Saima ma'am. You highlighted these very important parts. In fact, I believe that this national education policy has achieved one thing, has already achieved this mass awareness, about the importance of these early years. Now people have recognized the importance. A few years back, even the learned educators like you, Trilok sir, Kunal sir, Jaswinder sir, used to talk about it. But now I see that we are working in different parts. I believe now people have recognized it. People are talking about it. The most important years in the life of a student are the early years, 0 to 6 years. So thank you, Saima ma'am. And you said that you just use the picture of your daughter-in-law. So I believe this is also the secret of new age of successful
Yes.
relationship between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. So thank you, Saima ma'am, for sharing that secret. So thank you with that. And before I invite Tilok sir, I would request Jaswinder sir, if we can have your perspective. You are an authority in the language part. So what are your assessment? What is your? Will go to Tilok sir.
Thank you, Rajuji. Uh, I would have always wanted to talk after Tilak sir. I respect him a lot, though I have briefly seen him on one of these occasions. But let me start with two, three important things. Saima ma'am. Saima ma'am, you're talking about a lot of social learning and things like that. I think the best school, best preschool is the mother's lap. They say the best laptop is the mother's lap.
Right.
I think the best teaching can only happen at home. So homeschooling somewhere should be promoted. Though we realize that not all mothers are educated to do that, but a mother always knows what she wants her child to learn.
Sir,
So
education
somewhere
is not only through books. Mothers can be educated mentally. That is of more importance.
exactly, like you talked about, we also had Shivaji being, taught right when he was in his Jijabai's womb. That's actually the most correct form. Somewhere the early childhood has been recognized. We need to go to the next level, but I'm sure the policymakers or the lawmakers somewhere will understand that yes, in our country we've always neglected that, but how has it come along till this time is because the mothers and the joint family system used to work in. You're talking about your mother, and you are there, and your daughter-in-law, and her child. So because you had that system, that was beautiful. Unfortunately, that is being tearing apart. Okay, so we realize this, as an education company, and what we realize is, how do we fall in love with the language? When we listen to stories from our grandmas, right? Unfortunately, nuclear families don't have grandmas, and we used to cater to English as a language. Only now we started other languages. So what we did was we went on and we got some very nice storytellers to narrate stories, and we got the videos. Since you are from the army background, ma'am, let me tell you, we are taking help from the army. There's a group known as Wings, if you've heard of them, ma'am, right? So we've got some ladies from there who are we are recording them narrating stories and making a part of the language learning. So what we've done is we've got language through stories
Sir,
as a part of
Wordsworth, I have also used in Army Public School. I was the headmistress a few years back.
which army public school, ma'am?
Sir,
Which one?
Army Public School, SP Marg and LBS. SP Marg, I
Okay.
was there and I've used Wordsworth over there. So full
Right,
regards
right.
for you,
So now
sir.
yeah. So thank you so much. The new product which has just been launched, it has got all this. So what I'm trying to say is, learning can happen in any way, but has to be delivered through compassion, through love. And you know what we say? We said for the love of English. No, there's for the joy of reading. We've just picked up for the love of English. That if you love anything, if a teacher makes something so interesting, the child never loves the subject. He loves or she loves the teacher who's teaching that subject, and that is where they excel. So, very important, we need to get back onto the teacher training, and not only the subject matter, it is the pedagogy, it is the class management, and things like that. And I don't know how we are going to do, but I'm sure technology somewhere can play this, because India is a huge country looking at that. So that was one takeaway that I had when I heard you talking about these points. That was takeaway. up. If I go on to Dr. Kunal sir, he was talking about experiential learning. So you talked about inquiry based learning. That's exactly what is happening. If we understand, even Bish sir talked about in his brief initial point, that we need to look at peer group learning. Students sometimes do not ask questions to seniors, they ask questions to their fellow classmates. So if we bring in peer group learning, which is in the form of flipped classrooms, okay, instead of teaching something today, what we say is, tomorrow this is what I'm going to teach, go get me 10 lines on this. All they're going to do is go straight to Google. Unfortunately, they will not be able to get 10 lines, but they will get 10,000 lines. And the beauty is that from that they have to extract, do research, because research has to start right from the beginning. You can't say, like this policy says, that the fourth year of college is a research year. Oh, no, no. You need to start right from beginning. Teach them how to collate, how to find out on their own, and that's when they start questioning. That's what we've been talking about. Again, being a technology person, I will again say technology plays a part again. They're getting onto that. So, Dr. Kunal, I was very, very, happy to listen to this thing. I admired all that you spoke about. And yes, if we get students to do it, like you said, facilitators, yes, because this young generation will teach us a lot more, right? So that's getting onto that. Getting on to what I want to put up on the language part, the first and the most important thing, the change that this policy is bringing in, is teaching the foundations in the mother tongue. I have always been giving examples. Ma'am, sir, I'm based out of Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So Gujarati is the local language. I have given this example quite a many times, that people who are my age, Trilok sir, I am also your age, 52. My age, most of the doctors are from Gujarati medium. How come English medium students are not those greatest of the doctors? It is because their foundations were cleared, in their own mother tongue. At the time when we are struggling with understanding language, they were able to understand all the concepts. And those foundations went strong, and further on they could do that. So that is a very good move. But English should not be put aside. A child can learn up to 5 languages up to the age of 8. So this three language system is beautiful. Mother tongue, classical language, and English. Okay. When we talk about classical language, I always used to consider Sanskrit as one, but Tamil too is a classical language. It is actually the oldest language in the world. So what we've done is, as a company, we have developed a Sanskrit lab. And recently, we got an order to implement this in all the Kendriya Vidyalayas. So KV, they've started teaching Sanskrit using technology on that. So that is something that works onto that. So yes, the three language system is good enough. There's one more research which says that if a child speaks three or more than three languages, their brain works sharper. If in one line you can use all the three languages, nothing better than that. That is logic, right? So again, this three language system, I applaud that. And I'm sure that, in the early years, language is something which makes a child expressive. Any language, if he or she acquires properly, there's soft skill coming in. You don't have to teach them soft skills. Any language, you see that, ma'am, whether it is Urdu, whether it is Hindi, whether it's Punjabi, whether it's Tamil, whether it's Kannada, if you acquire that language properly, the finer nuances of language, you as a person will always become a good person. So I'm very happy that they have focused a lot on language, not because I earlier used to be an IT trainer. I worked as a trainer for Microsoft, but I've moved on to languages, finding because language is poetry. Any language, if spoken properly, is musical to ears. Savio, this is thought for you, that if you talk about music, talk about any music in any language. I mean, music has its own language, right?
Actually,
So that's what we're talking about. That is something that I'm very, very happy and very hopeful that things will become good there. Going on to next, a lot of educationists have put this up, that earlier we had one language, two language, now three languages, and so many things, and a student can go choose any subject. But that's good. He or she should do what he or she likes. How are we going to cope up with that? Only one answer: use technology. I would promote teachers. I'll tell you one thing, ma'am, sir, I always give this example. that teachers who were our teachers at that time, the curriculum used to change every decade, right? Now curriculum changes every year. Now same 24 hours, same lady teacher. She has a husband, she has kids, she has in-laws, and she has got family to take care, and then she has to keep learning more. What used to change 10 years now changes every year. How are they going to cope up? Only one thing: use technology. Technology is not a replacement, it is your support. It is
True.
your, I mean, it will help. So hope the government puts at a lot of this thing. It is not that each teacher needs to know how to code. All they need to know is where to find what, because the information is there everywhere. How to find what and how to filter what is correct and what is not. If these traits are taught to the teachers, and if you use flip thing, the students will also get it, and I'm sure this will work on to the next level. So that was one thing. Okay. One more important thing was that we are talking about how do we make students communicate better, right? Again, in a classroom, if a child has to speak to the, I mean, as to acquire a particular language. Let me take example of English. It is not when the child speaks to the teacher, because on an average a child speaks for, I mean, uses only 10 sentences a day while communicating with the teacher, but he uses more than 200 sentences talking to his peers. So you should actually promote students to talk amongst each other. In fact, to the entire panelists, I would like to share something. Recently, Delhi government, which is very, very, they use a lot of, they put a lot of focus on education. They gave us a project to teach 12,000 Hindi medium government school teachers, students. What did we do? We made them communicate with each other using technology, and after 1 month, they started speaking, and they were so good that Trinity College London gave them thumbs up that they had actually jumped 2 levels of language skills. So this is what we need to do. Inclusive education, all this is there. Peer group education, inquiry based education, what all the panelists have talked about, I actually second that. And I hope the policymakers are listening. That needs to be done. Just documentation will not work. This is a good step. The government has done their work. We as educators need to get onto that. So rather than pulling them down, let's support them getting into this. And I'm sure ये किला फतेह हो सकता है if everybody comes together. That's my point. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir, and absolutely, ye kila fateh hoga. And this was very absolute part. In fact, during the question hour, I would be coming to you. Many educators, many participants during our last 97, 96 session, they have asked this question whether we are going to see a diluted English, English is going to get diluted in coming time. So I'll come back to you during the question part. So with this, so let me invite Trilok sir. Trilok sir, you are the educator of educators. You are the mentor of you when you are you say something, you represent tens of hundreds of educators. So before I invite you, before you start sharing your interpretation, I also would like to understand, the kind of you said that you were you were talking to your teachers before the session, and you were planning the next year's and NEP integration. So I would also request you, while interpreting NEP, if you can also suggest the teachers, how we can empower teachers, or how we can reach that training part to all the teachers, and the challenges you perceive with that.
I would like to start with this curriculum design 2020 design, and how we are going to govern, how we are going to govern this design. I think it's not shown directly to you because I think it's selfie mode, so you can't see it properly. This curriculum 2020 is a complete design we have created. It's a 120-page document which we have created for our DPSG society. We all worked, what we did was we involved the actual teachers were teaching in the classrooms. They were asked to do the research, do a lot of brainstorming from month of April, May, and June. In July, we came out with this document. We came out with this before the NEP was declared. We could see that, it was in in tune, in sync with our curriculum design 2020. That's why we're very happy that this year also we were implementing from July. We have already implemented our CD 2020, which is called Curriculum Design 2020, where we talk about the inquiry based education. We talk about design thinking to the children, where the children have to interpret, integrate the needs of people. Like Kunal talked about the art integration. Saima ma'am has spoken about community service. The children must have social and psychomotor skills to be developed. Sir Jaswinder has spoken about the communication skills also. All that can be honed if we bring the design thinking in the children to integrate the needs of the people, the possibilities of the technology and requirements of business successes. If the children understand what is design thinking, this document which I showed you just now, Curriculum 2020 is one of the design. It's not necessarily that the engineering designing. Design engineering only has to be studied to create a design. It's not only for the mobiles design or the automobile design or packaging designs and all. We have to think of design thinking. Even in education, children should be able to learn design thinking. If we have a farewell, the children must know how to create the aura, how it becomes a student led, how the event management to be taken by the children. Only the classroom learning should not be enough for the children. In the classroom, whatever the traditional way out was there, we need to come out of the conventional era, and we have to come to unconventional career options also for the children. We need our children to get a little more confidence. To bring that confidence in the children, we have to give them the opportunities. We have to make them understand that they are the ones who are going to come up with the ideas. They have to work on the idea, research on the idea, come up with presentation and implementation. If the education becomes student led, teachers are only facilitators. Whenever the children are getting stuck, if they have any queries, they can inquire from the teachers. Whereas in India, normally, as Saima ma'am was also saying, that we do not want the children to get the answers from the teachers. They should be able to research the answers on their own. Essential question is if I talk about NEP here, the essential question is what are the challenges and what are the benefits and how is going to be difficult to implement the NEP. So if I give these three questions in one question, then all of us will start thinking, mind boggling, brainstorming, and will come up with some kind of a answer to it. But if we just tell them NEP, National Education Policy 2020, this is the document which was presented by Mr. Nishank on such and such date in July 2020. And if you're giving only facts and figures and data to be crammed, we don't want that rote learning anymore. We don't want the children to rote learn and vomit in the examinations and pass with good flying colors, but then forget the next day what they've studied last year. There's no application-based studies at all in that. We really want the children to have a little more social emotional learning. When I talk about social emotional learning, they must know. They must learn in the bargain during these 12 years or 12 plus 3, 15 years now, how to manage the emotions, how to set and achieve the positive goals, and how to feel and show the empathy towards others. We must have the community services into our system. Our children must visit the orphanages. We must invite these children to our playground to make them play. And when you see the happiness on their faces, I tell you, there's no other treasure more better than this when you see these children smiling. I'll give you the example of this 26th January. We celebrated with 3 orphanages. We invited 30 children from all. We had around 90 children from there, and we had only 20 children from our school who volunteered for the winter donation drive. We had around 120 teachers. We were around 200, 300 people in the school. We furled the flag and we asked these children to sing and showcase their talent. You'll be surprised to know that these children, the orphan children, they had wonderful bhajans to sing on the mic. They had wonderful things to showcase. They have spoken so beautifully. Then when we had the games, they were much more energetic than our lethargic children at times because our children have into the comfort zone. They were so happy. They were brimming with the smile and they were jumping, and we made certain games for them. We organized the games for them. And then we had the langar kind of a thing for them, because we don't have a proper food. We call it a langar, so that it's a for the community langar, community kitchen kind of a thing. Then we had sweets for them, and I must tell you, then we had clothes given to the children. I think that social and emotional learning is very, very important for the children. That cannot be taught just by telling the children. You have to live the example, live as an example. You have to lead by an example. We showcase to the children by inviting these people. When they saw, now the children are all the more energetic. They want to do something for them. And even though some of the parents were ringing up, so we want to do at personal level also. We want to help these orphanages. And I think this is how you can create the social and emotional learning, where the children have certain goals. It is not only the academic goal that have to get 99.9%. That is not, actually, we do not promote that. Luckily, when we are giving them the all-round development, in the bargain, we get the CBSE toppers also. That is our fortune. This year, two of our girls were the CBSE toppers. They were recently called by the Prime Minister. They were felicitated there. It was it was icing on the cake. But I don't believe in the percentage. Percentage is just number, and you'll be very happy to know this girl who is a CBSE topper, Jia Chakravarti, who scored 499 marks, and she was felicitated by the Prime Minister and the Education Minister on 26. This girl is amazingly good Kathak dancer also. So I think these kind of hobbies and other extracurriculars are very, very important, which we call as foundation domain. In our system, we don't call them extracurricular, we call them elective and extra foundation domains. So then we also need to have the digital literacy, which is very, very important. We have to develop the habit of inquiry. The children must ask a lot of questions. They must be receptive, media capable. They must be receptive to understand. Like whatever I was listening to Kunal or to Jaswinder sir or to Saima ma'am, I was trying to accumulate and assimilate what they were saying, because there's always a learning from others. If you think that you are a master of the universe, then you are then the downfall is for sure. When you are listening to everyone and trying to learn from everyone, and this is the capability which we have to transact in the class also. So our children are lifelong learners, and there's capabilities and critical analysis of the data which is given to the children. If this is promoted amongst the children, that would be so beautiful. That is another very important aspect of our MEP. Then numeracy skills are very important. As I said, 200, 2 2 4. Instead of the 210, 20. उसके also बोलो 215 then they have to think. So why not to give them the patterns rather than the rote learning? They must understand the pattern so that you can create anything. 2 into 5,000 or 8 into 7,550. If they know the pattern, they'll come out like this. What we used to have in our Vedic mathematics, there were patterns, and we were learning the patterns, and that patterns and habits can be promoted, and that can be knowledge of numbers, interpreting the mathematical numbers, information. If I'm giving information, we are talking about the statement question, that there were 5 rows and every row has 7 trees, and how many are the total number of trees. Then the child has to use a little application based system altogether. Visual perception of the numbers. When we talk about bar diagrams, we talk about pie charts, we talk about other ways, we talk about octagons, we talk about things like that, where the children are getting visual aspect, where they need to analyze and gauge what is the trend going on. Nowadays, data science is coming up in a big way. I think most of the jobs in 21st century will be related to data science in some way or the other. So for that, the numerical or visual perception of the numbers or the pie diagrams or the bar charts or the cumulative frequency or the histogram, all that is very, very important for the children. Then off late, as Jaswinder sir said, the literacy skills. Even Kunal was talking about, if the child doesn't know how to speak in English or how to speak in Hindi, how to speak in Urdu, and how to speak whichever the language of communication is there. If the child doesn't know the language, when I say language, I'm not talking only about English. I'm talking about all languages which the children are learning in. I may be learning in Punjabi. I may be doing Ada Uda Sasa Sase Bandisha Bole, Shashe Bandisha Bole, and all those things. when I'm talking about the language literacy skill, to read, write, and listen, and how to comprehend what I'm reading and what I'm listening and what I'm writing, and how I communicate with the people, how I create a sentence, how I compare, and how I create a proficiency in that particular language. That is very, very important. For that, all the subjects will depend on the language, be it any language. Can be French, can be German, anything. But yes, of late, we all know that English is a international linking language. We need to make our children understand. But with the passage of time, I'm telling you, English will not be compulsory for us, because with the advent of artificial learning and the machine learning, you'll find artificial intelligence and machine learning is coming up in such a way that we'll have the translators. Whatever you speak, the other person will hear his own language. You don't have to learn their language, right? So I think this literacy skill is also very important. I was talking about these 5 domains, and besides that, the NEP is giving the maximum focus on the learning outcomes. Whatever we are doing, what is the outcome out of it? What I'm teaching the children, what the child is getting to understand out of it. If my focus is not on LOs, the learning outcomes, if I'm not focused on the competencies and the subject integration, we talk about the transdisciplinary themes for the junior classes. Class nursery and KG, you'll find it's more of art integration. Art integration is not only drawing and painting, it could be theater, it could be singing, it could be any form of art. When we are doing Machli Jal Ki Rani hai, you must have we do like this, Machli Jal Ki Rani, what is this? This is art integration. Child will not remember. Sometimes they chubby cheeks, rosy lips, dimpled chin. When we say that and when I'm doing this, child remembers the words. So I think they need to connect with some kind of interdisciplinary approach, which is very, very important. I think the subject integration is very important. When we talk about the competency-based education, we need to create modules on preparing and implementation of pedagogical plans. Every school has their own pedagogical plans on competency and outcome based education for the school leaders, first of all. Forget about the students. I find we people need to learn a lot, all of us. In fact, I need to learn the maximum what I feel. I need to learn a lot so that I can percolate down the same thing to my teachers so that it goes down to my students. It's a chain, it's a cycle. And there's so much we learn from the children. And what we are learning from the children, acknowledge it. Tell the children, Beta, you're so beautiful with this. Your empathetic skills, like Simon member was talking, even we have an inclusive school. We have many children who are autistic. We have many children who are blind. There's one of my blind student, Arush Bhatt. He was in 10th last year. Now is in 11th PCM. If you go to the YouTube, you'll find Arush Bhatt. He has a channel of his own, and this boy speaks so beautifully, and he is so confident. Last year, he won a scholarship of US government, and for 20 days, he was taken to USA, to NASA, and these 50 children from all over the world, the blind, all were blind children. They were given the experience of the space. They were not able to see, but they were able to count their steps. And it is always said when God takes one sense away from you, He gives you many times, multiple times more. The other senses become stronger. So this boy is amazingly good, and he wants to be a computer engineer, and I'm sure he will be. He's amazingly good. There's another girl who was autistic, partially autistic in class 12. She scored around 83%, and she wants to be a psychologist. She wants to be a clinical psychologist, or you can think of how the children think on. NEP is going to give this advantage to the children, that if you are in science, you can go for psychology, you can go for history, you can go for, they're giving you the freedom. Just